So Zach, I'm well informed that you have plenty of F1 news. So do you want to kick us off maybe?
Sure. Why don't we talk about how Renault is like, hey, you know what? Let's just do all our development for Red Bull instead of for Lotus and for anybody else. So this comes amidst the news of Romain Grosjean saying about Lotus, hey, we've basically decided that we are not going to develop the car anymore for 2014. That's just from him specifically. I haven't seen anything from the team going like, yeah, that's definitely true, because I don't think they would say anything like that. But Romain Grosjean's like, team's not doing anything anymore. And at the same time, Renault has said, Red Bull is our works team. Red Bull is giving us some staff to help work on the power unit, because Christian Horner's like, I reckon our dudes know a little bit.
Yeah.
They might be able to help you with some stuff. So let's send some dudes over there.
Specifically, Christian Horner said, we're really good at some stuff. And, we're just saying we might be better at you in some areas. So maybe if we put ourselves all up together, a rising tide lifts all boats kind of thing.
Exactly right. So, specifically where they're really bad, Red Bull thinks they'll be able to plug those gaps and help improve those real weaknesses of the power unit, which, I'm not sure how much development that will deliver for the rest of the year. But, it might help Red Bull bridge that gap of just pure kilometers per hour. I think aren't they something like 20 kilometers per hour down?
Yeah, something like that. On
max speed, crazy stuff.
Also, Max Speed, didn't he win the IndyCar championship this weekend?
I think that's his name. No. It is Max Power.
Willpower?
No, it is Willpower. Yeah, it is Willpower. Max Power is the name that Homer Simpson takes in that sixth episode.
He has a great song, I think, as well. But if you start singing it, you'll be singing it all day. So just don't do that.
No, not touching that. No, so congratulations to Willpower winning the IndyCar championship. He last time he did anything was for Jaguar 2003. So...
Yeah, sure. And also the last time I was interested in IndyCar was when an Australian did well. So thanks, Will. Well done.
Fantastic.
But while we're talking about engines, before we move away from that perhaps, maybe we could get to this announcement from Gene Haas, who says, obviously he's been hanging around Ferrari a fair bit recently, and it was, it wasn't announced officially, but he's now come out and said that, we're going to sign a deal for Ferrari engines for our cars, and we're going to be called Haas F1. I don't think they were up all night thinking of that name. But they already had a technical partnership, and now it's official that Ferrari will be supplying power units to Haas F1.
Yeah, you've got to congratulate whoever the salesman in that meeting was. You should totally get Ferrari power units from us. And Haas is like, but you guys are really not that great this year, though. And Ferrari have gone, well, you can't have a Mercedes one because they've hit their maximum of people. Yeah. And which I didn't know. I didn't know that you could only supply it to 4 teams.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Well, I learned that recently, yes.
Could you clear that up? Is it 4 including your works team, or is it 4 customers?
I assume that an engine supplier can only supply 4 teams, including themselves.
Okay, cool. That clears that up. That's what I would expect. If you know different, please tweet us at SuperLicensePod.
Yeah, well done.
So, Ferrari, good on them. I'm sure Mattiacci used all his sales experience from the US to be like, hey, man, it's a Ferrari though, right?
How good does red look?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, that's all signed off, ready to go.
Cool. Well, I'll throw it back to you. What do you got next?
Why don't we talk about just a little bit of news regarding Williams signing both of its drivers, locking them in for 2015. Yeah, so Felipe Massa was pretty sure he was already under contract for next year, but that means very little in Formula One these days. Under contract until somebody else says, hey, do you want to drive for Mercedes? And you go, yes.
Yeah, we have bucket loads of cash and we'll just pay out your contract anyway, so don't even worry.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Or your own team's like, hey, so we know you're under contract, but if you could just leave and we sign this new guy, that would be awesome. But I suppose the bigger news is Valtteri Bottas is staying after some really good, consistent punching above his weight, you could say, performances. Rumours were circulating that maybe some of the other teams were looking at him if some other shifts had happened. If the top drivers shift around, that might be Fernando Alonso moving, or it might be Sebastian Vettel moving. If some other players shifted around, Bottas could have found himself maybe being offered a drive at maybe McLaren, or who knows.
And his contract renewal came up at exactly the right time, where he'd had about 6 podiums out of the last 3 races or something crazy like that. He was really coming good. The development of that car was finally reaching its potential just at the time that they were negotiating the contracts. And he was like, wait, guys. That's how he talks. Wait, guys, let's just hang off another week or two and see if I can win a race, and then we'll negotiate.
Yeah, and his best shot was going to be at Monza, but we'll get to that. Do you want to talk about just the little tiny incident that happened to Max Verstappen while we're between races?
What happened to Max Verstappen?
Did you see how his first public outing in a Formula One car in Rotterdam?
Ooh,
Did you see this video? Yes. We haven't talked about this, have we?
No,
No,
we haven't.
So he is publicly showing off, what is it, Toro Rosso's last year's car? I don't think it's this year's. Yeah, last year's Toro Rosso. If I had the technical name, I would tell you, but I don't. And he was showing it off, doing a little bit of a public outing, PR event in Rotterdam. And he's gone around a corner and then done some nice 360 donuts and burnouts.
It's customary when you do a promotional day like that you do donuts. It's kind of accepted.
Yeah, exactly. In front of where the crowd seemed to be amassing. And then he got it stuck, like he stalled it, and they had to sort of push it backwards and give him some room to turn around. And as he's turned to turn around, he's driven into the apex on the other side of said corner. And you just hear this like terrible, just like, oh, you know, when you're parking a car and you're like, how close is the gutter? How close is the gutter? There it is. Oh, damn it.
Hit it.
Yeah, I mean, Formula One cars are notoriously fragile. So it was broken. And the crowd cheered and whooped and everybody caught it on their phones.
Yeah,
on their little video phones. So bad luck, Max Verstappen. You're not the only one. There are other people out there who have crashed their cars at big events like this. So don't worry about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But considering it was his first time, no good.
I mean, unlike Valtteri Bottas, it does his negotiation skills no good at all. What about it? Can we talk a little bit just though about Sochi, about Russia? I want to. Sure. It's been cold in Melbourne lately. My thoughts have been turning to Russia. A couple of things. Obviously,
Daniil Kvyat.
He's from there. I don't know if you knew that, but they've actually named a grandstand after him at the circuit, which I thought was maybe putting the cart before the horse a little bit. Like
just a little bit. I mean, it would be the same as if if Perth somehow got a Formula One race next year and they were like, hey, this is now the Daniel Ricciardo Straight. Everybody would be like, I mean, he's won a few races, but that's a little bit premature.
It is a little bit premature. But the other thing that's the other side note I had about that was that Codemasters, the guys who make the F1 video game, they're about to release their 2014 version of the game, and they've actually just released a little video featuring
Daniil Kvyat
in virtual form, screaming around the Sochi circuit, trying to give people a bit of an idea of what it's going to look like, giving an idea of the graphics of the game. Obviously, Russian driver, Russian circuit. It's I bet it's had about 6.2 billion hits in Russia there. But, I mean, one of the key reasons you might buy a game like that if you bought last year's game is because there's new tracks. And obviously Sochi is the big one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the big one that is cold some of the year. Did you see Sebastian Vettel's lap around the track?
Was it a game one or was it a real one? Or
a real one. He was there the other day.
I think I saw the headline, but I didn't read the story. Anything notable about that?
No, people are saying that it looks a little bit like a boring track.
Yeah. I was a bit concerned with the Codemasters video because it's a street track, it's a circuit track, but it just looks like a normal track. There's grandstands everywhere. Maybe it was the camera angles or something, but it just looked like a boring track. I couldn't, not a boring track. I shouldn't say that. It's designed by Herman Tilke, but I don't hold that against them. It's more that I was expecting there to be buildings nearby or bridges that they pass under or just something to give it some dynamism, but it's not.
No, Sochi is a tiny little place. They had the Winter Olympics there, and
I remember they had the Winter Olympics there, but I still thought there would be some buildings.
No, apparently, yeah, they were. I remember back when the Olympics were on, and they were saying that, oh yeah, we're here covering the sport for BBC, but also we can see the F1 track is nowhere near finished, and they just leveled all this stuff just to put an F1 track right next to the Olympics.
Well, they obviously put all of their funds and resources into construction and wolf wrangling. Because I don't remember any tweets about any problems from that time.
No wolves.
I think that's all the news that I had.
I think that's all the news I have too.
Because you covered a lot more of the ones than I was expecting.
Oh no!
I think everything you mentioned I had as well, but that's okay.
The Padawan becomes the master.
The what?
Oh, the Padawan becomes the master. Star Wars. Anybody? There's the Jedi Master, and then he has his little trainee apprentice. His Padawan.
What movie was he in, and what does the monster look like? That'll be the best clue.
Padawan isn't a thing. It's isn't a specific. A Padawan isn't a specific thing. Padawan is the name for a Jedi apprentice.
I think we need to move away from this.
I don't know who's in more trouble here. You for not
Yeah,
knowing anything
definitely
about
me.
Star Wars, or me for knowing.
It's like we're just at opposite ends of the party or something.
So what? I like sport and nerd stuff. Deal with it. Jeez.
I do too, but just I'm not into the Star Wars lore.
Oh, well, maybe the Star Wars lore is into you.
It's strong within me.